screen share. It is Atlantic. No, it's EuroScrum. Apologies for missing the Atlantic Scrum yesterday. I was otherwise tied up. Maybe we should just start with Aditya. Haven't seen you for a while. Anything to report, Aditya?
No, actually, I was setting up website one environment locally in my PC, and I'm having some troubles with it. Just nothing. Me and Wood decided to pair together with for this project.
So, sorry, which project is it you're trying to set up? Website one or Osra?
Yeah, website one.
Website one. Okay, good show. So yeah, anyway, well, hopefully someone can get you some help on getting that set up. So, and your plan, I guess, is still that's your main block, I guess, at the moment. It's just getting yourself completely set up with the project.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Good show. Let's move on to Brian. Brian, great to see you. I love seeing you in early scrums. Always.
Hello.
Hey,
Yeah.
Brian. Yeah. How are things with you?
Well, not much happened except yesterday been busy updating documents me and Thomas have paired, and we've been going through some of the documentation, trying to update it with latest information and updating them in response to Yaro's comments about certain bits of the documentation. So that's what I've really been focused on in the past.
Good show. Is there nothing particular blocking you at the moment?
Nope, I wouldn't say that.
No, okay. And I guess I'll just check. So, Aditya, you're free to pair after this session. You could receive some help straight up, or you're better off in a few hours.
Okay.
No, Aditya, I'm asking what you're free. Are you free after this session?
Yeah. I'm free.
Oh, great. Okay, cool. And Brian, will you be free after this session?
Yep, I'll be free for a bit till lunch.
Okay. Cool, good stuff. Let's go on to Sly. How are things with you?
Hey, it's fine. I'm working on finishing the pull request for the documents management, as I've arranged a pairing session with Yaro after this scrum, so we could look at some strange RSpec failures that I am getting that are not related to the changes that I've done.
Good show.
So later today, probably me and Christian will gonna pair on this other story about document revisions.
Okay, good stuff. Good to hear. Let's go to Yaro. How are things with you?
Things are good. We had 2 pairing sessions with Sly yesterday, sort of polishing off his pull requests. I've been refactoring my last pull request, sort of converting back from CoffeeScript into JavaScript. So I'll be submitting that in an hour or so, and that's about it.
Right.
Also, our pull request with Christopher for dashboard stats. The first very simple sort of MVP will be coming in tonight. I guess when I get a chance to see him. And we need to change just a few minor things. And also, yeah, I was planning a pairing session with Sly right now with Christopher and Sly perhaps later during the day about the documents revision history. Also, I don't know how I'm going to make it, but also there's a session planned with John Engelbert and Amal on the event story. And I don't know, for some reason, I don't know if you guys know this girl, Evo 2015.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't know her, and she sort of expect.
Vivian, yeah, we know her quite well.
To pair on website one, so probably do that in the evening or something.
Well, she's Viv. She's been with us for a while.
Oh, she is Viv. All right, okay. Because I know her as EO 2015.
Yeah.
That's her screen name.
But that's it. That's the plan. So busy, yeah.
All right, busy stuff. Busy. There's Craig has joined us as well.
Hi.
Craig, how are things with you?
Not too bad, if broadband worked.
Indeed. Yes. Anything to update us on?
No, we had I think I mentioned this in the meeting this morning, but we had a meeting yesterday, an OSRA meeting.
Oh, yes.
And Motisum is going to put all the phase 0 stories on Pivotal Tracker, so everything to achieve phase 0 is on there, and then we're going to start doing 2-week sprints to try and get the minimum viable deliverable to the customer, so they actually have something that they can start working with. Nothing's blocking me. Excellent. Other than broadband.
Right. And you're available for some pairing today?
Later on, not this morning. Yeah.
Fair enough. Good show. All right, let's just quickly do me. I continue to be all about fixing errata in the 169 textbook. I think I am almost through to the end of the TDD chapter, which will allow me to rest. I think I just really want to get that done. So I'm not really available for people who want to hang out with me, watching me fix errata. They're more than welcome. And then it's going to be the weekend and starting at Makers Academy on Monday. So I mean, I think the other thing I've been getting quite stressed. I think as some other people have, about the kind of ongoing conversation about the decision-making process in website 1. I thought yesterday that we had a lot of clarity on the decision-making process that I think had been agreed originally and maybe hadn't been written down. I mean, there's the ongoing question about to what extent should documentation be written up for the process? For what extent things should be understood. I mean, I think each project manager. I mean, we've got a number of different projects in website in Agile Ventures, and each project manager's got to take ultimate responsibility and decisions for how their project is working. We're kind of a bunch of folks who are hanging out, trying to have fun and trying to improve our skills. I think we've all got that as our key priority. Although it's interesting, one of the things I found, I just posted in the Tech Talk, was a discussion about the RSpec should versus expect, and I noticed vitriolic things on both sides of the community. I think this process of having fun and working together, issues come up where language choices, technology choices, this, that, and the other, and I think it can be very challenging when the discussion and the pressure goes on and on and on. Anyway, I guess I will. I think let's do an update with Thomas. You want to just fill us in on where you're up to with things?
Well, I've been trying to just fulfill my obligations as the project lead of Website 1, and I've been working with Brian, as he said, and we created we made some updates to the project project coordination flow and the decision-making process, and this seems, at least for up until an hour ago, this seemed to be an ongoing process. Now it seems that it potentially, perhaps, finally, we've satisfied the needs of the community, or at least the spokesperson for the community. Mm-hmm. So that's a good thing. But I got to say, if I can just take a moment again, for the last few days, since I came back, I'm trying to get into the loop, and this is a passion project for me. I was, the one that originated this effort together with the core dev team, and I've been working on Website 1 for a long time, and I'm very happy to be given given the opportunity to be a project leader on this. I think it's a privilege. But for the last 2 days, it's no fun anymore. It's actually a pain in the ass. So and I feel that I need to do something about that. And this is not the first time it's not the first time I have an issue with Yarrow. We had the same situation in January or February when we reached a decision that he would step away from this project in order to create some sort of just create a better atmosphere, working atmosphere. I wasn't, at that time, I wasn't prepared to work with him due to his insultive way and the way he made some comments. And unfortunately, 6 or 7 months later, I'm in the same position again, and so this is a little bit unbearable. I've spoken to you about this, Sam, and I've spoken at length with Brian. Who I mean, Brian is a good partner of mine, and and I rely on him in a lot of issues. But I mean, this is a very, very sad moment for me. So because I was hoping that we could have a better working atmosphere, and basically what you were talking about. We're supposed to have fun,
right?
And I'm, I woke up tonight, and I at 4 o'clock in the morning, and this is what I thought about, and I don't see any reason why I should be lying awake at night thinking about a open source voluntarily project, and that's stressing me out. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I want to have fun, and I want to create great things. I believe in this community. I think this is a great idea that you had, and that I joined a year ago. And I think that Website One as a project, building a platform to support this community is a great thing to do and to be involved in, but not at any price. So I say that this is a completely unbearable situation for me. The way we work and interact together today.
Yeah, and it's sad to hear that. I mean, I very much value the huge efforts that Thomas has put into the community and to Website One, and the same for Yarrow, who's also done a lot of work. We've known for a long time that the personalities are not a fantastic match. But this is, I mean, one of the reasons that we're here doing this in the community is, rather than developing solo, there's how does one manage personality clashes. I think it's very, very challenging. So I think, Yarrow, unfortunately, we're in the situation where Thomas is the project lead, and he's saying that he really can't work with you at the moment. I don't know, Thomas, if you want to be more specific about the example. I mean, I think everybody's been following the conversations in the Website One Slack. I feel I tend to, I'm trying to be impartial. I think, we all have, flaws and faults. It's not that, any of us are perfect individuals, but I do feel that while, there's things that we can, the community can improve and the project management can improve and so on, I am also waking up and getting stressed about, goodness me, what's Yarrow, how is he going to behave next? So I don't know, Yarrow, do you want to? I think we need, as we did in February, we maybe need to ask you to switch your focus from Website One to a different project. Do you want to respond to that?
Yeah, I mean, you're the customer of the project, and Thomas is the project lead, so you can do as you like. One thing I would like to get a feedback on is, I don't understand the reasoning.
Mm-hmm.
Just a few words from my point of view. Mm-hmm. I wasn't just jumping up and criticizing and saying that I'm not satisfied with something. Mm-hmm. In every single case, I was providing very constructive feedback on what I think should be dealt with. Mm-hmm. I put down a number of questions that should be asked, mm-hmm. That should be answered. Mm-hmm. And my intentions were not for myself, because mm-hmm. I've been in the project for long enough to know everything about it, to know all the inner goings and outer goings and everything else. Mm-hmm. I'm more concerned about new members, being clear about what's going on. And I was getting questions from other members, and that's it. That's my response. I would like them to know.
Sure. And if I could maybe.
So my question is, Sam, I would like to get reasoning. What exactly are you not comfortable about? I'm providing constructive feedback, but most of my questions just get ignored, or they answer. I mean, they're not being answered. Mm-hmm. What are you getting stressed about? I don't understand.
No. Well, you make a good point, Yarrow. I mean, I think you are. We're not saying that the fundamental issues that you've brought up in many cases are not ones that need addressing. I think they are ones that need addressing. I think it's great that we now have this document here, which I've brought up, which has got, responsibilities for me, the responsibilities for Thomas, and so on. I mean, I think it's a credit to the process and to you that this now exists. But I think that the problem is not so much that these questions are asked. I mean, we want to respond to them to the best of our ability. But what I was saying to you at the beginning of the meeting before we started recording, which is that when you make these requests and people give responses, as Thomas and I have been doing, and then you sort of repeatedly ask again and say, no, my question hasn't been answered. I need more. I need more. I need more. And maybe it is that the flaw is with Thomas and myself, that we're fundamentally misunderstanding your question, that we're fundamentally failing to provide you the information that you need, or indeed that you're asking on behalf of other people in the community. I mean, that's fair enough. But this process, by the way in which that you kind of keep on pounding again and again, we're all doing our best. Right, I particularly Brian and Thomas, and I know you're working very hard as well. I think everybody in the community is doing their best to try and provide the answers and the framework and so on to support everybody. But when the kind of repeated questioning and the kind of there's these sort of snide comments that you make about, oh yes, I know what Thomas is going to say, and that you make about Brian and Thomas are playing in their sandbox and they're not. There's this kind of beyond constructive criticism, and there's just kind of criticism, and it's kind of I don't know. It may well be that Thomas and I are just very, very sensitive people, and that your perfectly reasoned line of questioning and so on is getting us stressed unnecessarily. But all I can say from in a subjective, I'm finding not the questions themselves, because I think it's great to be clear about what the responsibilities are of the project, but the persistence and the ongoing your continued dissatisfaction with the results of what we do. It's really quite stressful. Now, personally, I think you've got fantastic energy. You've got great skills. I'm very pleased to have you involved in many of the things you contribute to the project. It's at the end of the day, though, the project manager, who's the one who's managing a particular project like WSO, has to make a decision about who they can work with. I would say please join local support or OSRA, whatever, and put your fantastic energy in there. And I think this is, I don't know, I get the sense that you're somewhat incredulous, that, as we talked about before, you said that you didn't feel that you were doing anything wrong. And I'll say, the asking for, highlighting problems that the community is having, asking for clarity and so on, that's absolutely fantastic. And we need that process. But when you push too hard, it stresses the other people out. And I think that this is, whatever organization that you go and work with, it's going to be the same. And I would invite you, I run local support, come and join me there, and we'll continue to work on, helping you perhaps adjust the process that you use for questioning people so that it's less stressful. I don't know, I'm asking you, to consider the possibility that, although there's many things that you're doing right, there's some aspects of the way in which you're interacting with people that are kind of quite aggressive. And I'd love to work with you to help you round off those. As we talked, you're a sharp tool. You're a very sharp tool, and the danger is that we cut ourselves with you. And I'm hoping maybe Yarrow, can you and I work together to take your sharpness and forge a sheath that allows the sharpness to be used when necessary and to be placed away where when there's a danger of damaging people.
Right, Sam, I kind of get the reasoning. I mean, just one example I would like to demonstrate. Could you scroll down a little bit to the first 2 comments of this document?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. So, this is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Could you just scroll down a little bit more?
Yeah.
This is not a great example, but
I'm on a tight schedule here.
A little bit more. Yeah, well, just a few seconds. I mean, Thomas.
Well, I guess let me say. I think maybe we need to do is wrap up the Scrum. I think we've covered the Scrum issues. We've covered the main thing here. Clearly, we can have further discussion about this. But I mean, maybe let's stop the broadcast.
But just before we stop, so I'm on the record saying here that because I sense there was a question to me, Sam.
Yes.
What I feel, but you kind of drifted off in a longer discussion, about Yarrow. But I just want to make myself clear, as I did in January and February. There is no way that today, in any foreseeable future, I would like to work with Yarrow. Okay.
No, okay.
I don't know, Brian, if you want to contradict that as a technical lead on the project,
well,
you're welcome to do that. But for me, this is a no-go, actually.
Okay, well, I think your position there, Thomas, is noted and is clear. But Brian, did you want to comment?
I completely agree. I think I sense a lot of hostility now on website 1. You guys really just need to have some breathing space. It's just like before. I think I'd recommend Yarrow try and take an interest in another project. We can't have this kind of hostility sticking around for too long. As much as I appreciate your contributions, you've done a lot, but just the negativity we're getting right now,
Right, guys, I got the idea, fine. I just want to point out, as as Thomas did for the record, it's very sad that I'm not being hostile. I'm providing feedback. I'm asking to answer questions. My questions don't get answered, and many of my questions just don't get answered. They just get ignored, or I get an answer which is answering a completely different questions when I never asked. And it's sad that I'm getting hostility, back at me, because I'm not being hostile in the first place, but I'm getting hostility for being persistent, for being for striving to get a clear understanding, for striving to get an answer. And it's very sad that I'm getting that. And surely, I cannot work in the same environment either.
No.
Because I don't like hostility my way for me doing what I think is right. Getting answers. And okay, so guys, I think we have a consensus here. Yeah.
Okay.
It would be very difficult for me to continue working in an environment when my questions don't get asked. And especially since I think it's not just my questions which just don't get answered. It's other people's questions which don't get answered either. And that's very sad. I think that's a bad atmosphere in the community.
I think the problem is that you're speaking you say you're speaking for the community, but we don't hear anybody else's voice.
I think we do need to wrap this up and keep this on time. Okay. I just say that I think that there are other people, that there are concerns that other community members have had that they've spoken about with Yarrow, and I think that Yarrow isn't, in some of the questions that he's asking, he's not going completely for himself. I think the challenge here in some ways is that Yarrow perceives himself to be being just persistent. I think in my relatively unbiased positions, I think you are being persistent, Yarrow, and unfortunately in many cases it is coming across, at least seems to me, that hostile. Of course, any of these things are a subjective opinion. You perceive perhaps Thomas and Brian as being hostile to you. As far as I can say from analyzing like this discussion here, that Thomas and Brian are doing their best to answer their questions. I think you're repeatedly being unsatisfied. Yeah, maybe at some level they're not answering the question in the way that you want, but I think that they're doing their best. And they're working really hard to try and do that. And that's why when you're persistently questioning somebody and, their answers are not satisfying you, at some point you need to say, okay, we agree to disagree, or we're not sure. But it ends up coming across as anyway, I think what I would like to do is, if we're going to have further comments from Yarrow or Thomas or Brian, that will be taken to a separate meeting. I just wanted to give Aditya and Craig and Sly a chance to comment on this if they had anything that they feel they wanted to add about what we've just discussed regarding Yarrow and Thomas.
I think that sounds common sense if they're going to agree to sort of have a bit of breathing space between the two of them. I mean, when I first joined, I was blown over by how welcoming the community was, and all I can think of now is that if someone joined the Slack channel and looked at the website one information feed going back, I don't think they'd feel quite as welcome as I was made to feel.
Right. And I guess that's a good point, Craig. I mean, if anybody, I guess I am the one question I ask for feedback from everybody is I'm trying to be as fair as possible here. I hope I've done that successfully. But I guess let's wrap up the broadcast there. I will take petitions from people. In private, in future scrums, and whatever. I mean, if the way that we do things in Agile Ventures is not meeting the needs of the people involved in Agile Ventures, then we need to continue. I mean, we need to continue to look at how we change and evolve those procedures, because that's really the bottom line about Agile: is that any process that we have, we need to question that process and say, is this working? We also need to respect other people's boundaries and spaces and so on, and the multinational, multicultural situation that we are in. But let's draw a line under the meeting there. I'm going to stop the broadcast.